Hi there, so today we're going to be showing you how to fit our Premier range into, in this case, VW-T5, but the principles will apply to any van you want to fit to. In this particular case we've left the van stripped back, and that allows you to see where all of the metalwork is and anything you'll be fixing into. First thing to do is to place the maxi unit in its correct position, making sure there's enough space for the driver's seat to slide all the way back. After that, push it right back against the wall and then place the wheel arch unit next to it. We've allowed additional space on the top of the wheel arch unit to allow you to scribe in, and it's the scribing which we'll be showing you here today. So, the first thing to do is to make sure that the two units line up. Most vans taper into the rear, so we don't want that. We want a completely straight line running along these entire units. So, place some sort of straight edge, either a level or in this case a piece of aluminium, along the front of the wheel arch unit, and then with the measure we want to take two measurements on either end of our maxi unit. It's important that these are exactly the same, and that will tell us that we've got a completely straight line. Need to adjust that slightly. Okay, so in this particular case I have 70mm, so it means that I want this wheel arch unit to go back in that direction by 70mm to line up perfectly with the front of this unit. That can vary depending on your van, depending on the type of panels you've got, but whatever it is, that's the measurement you use. To scribe the wheel arch unit into the van, the easiest way to do it is to mark off. I've put masking tape onto this so that the pencil shows up better, but mark off 100mm increments all the way down the length of the wheel arch unit. You then transfer your measurement, in our case 70mm, at all of those points along the van. So one at the beginning, then I come to my next one, mark off 70mm, 70mm, and so on all the way down the van. Exactly the same thing applies down here, down this end panel. Place a piece of masking tape and also on the removable aluminium trim that's here to make sure everything's right. So follow the shape of the van to come all the way down. We then place our top unit in. Making sure it lines up perfectly with the unit below. It may be a good idea to use a couple of our fixing screws to make sure it's in exactly the right position. We've left our scribable panels on temporarily just so you can see how it goes together afterwards. And in this position here, assuming it fits in place here, you can do exactly the same principle down the two side panels here. Masking tape, measure off, still the 70mm we talked about before, and make marks all the way down. The unit can then be removed, and in the case of this top unit, we have the aluminium trim. It's only one section, there's an actual joint here. The front section doesn't need to be removed, although if it helps with the ease of installation, you can slightly loosen the first two screws on it. Take the black top off it using the two screws provided. That gives you access to the fixing screws for the aluminium profile here and underneath. Remove those screws. This panel here will then slide out. Join up your marks that you've made from your van, trying to follow as much as possible. If you end up with disjointed straight lines, slightly round them to follow the shape of the van. Cut that and take that onto a desk and cut that with a jigsaw, and it's very important to use a downed cutting blade. So it's a blade where the teeth are going in the downward direction, not in the upward direction. That stops the laminate from being damaged as you're cutting it. Once that's done, the panel can be in reverse order, can be fitted back on. That means the panel goes back in place. Make sure it's sitting nicely into the anodised aluminium trim, and then the trim here, which is also cut, also scribed to the van at that point, fits back on in both positions. On the left side, and on the rear of the two you'll see there is a tape, double-sided adhesive tape, which at this stage, when you're just checking your scribes to make sure they're right, should be left in position. When it comes to a final fit, when you know everything's scribed absolutely perfectly, that tape can be removed. This is outside the van. The tape can be removed, the panel's placed into position, the panel's stuck, again the screws go back in, the trim goes back in, and then you're ready to start fixing permanently into your van.